welcome back. This is the second vlog. You're going to see a lot of cool stuff here. There's a little bit more highlights of art process, highlights of some conversation, some bike riding I've done as well, at least 2 trails, and there's another 2-cent rant that is nice, short, and sweet. All of these videos, you can check out the playlists that I have on my channel because they're all organized there, nice and neat. So the raw rides or the bike rides in their entirety, which sometimes they range from like 45 minutes to maybe just like 15 minutes, shorter or longer, just depends on the trail. Conversations, again, sometimes they're really long conversations, especially when I'm not talking by myself. So there's one that's like an hour and a half long, there's one that's a lot shorter, and then 2-cent rants. These are usually shorter, and then the art process videos can range too, depending on how long a piece takes, depending on when the battery on this thing dies, things like that. So the vlog, again, is just a compilation of the highlights of those things, and then some extra stuff that you won't see in those other videos as well, just things that went on in the week for me, that involve all those things, and then things that don't fit in those categories either, of bike riding, art making, conversations, and rants, which are just shorter conversations. So make sure to check those things out. I will say really quickly as well that I am improving the quality of these. There's a lot of trial and error, there's a lot of research involved, but things are going to get better. Editing definitely is getting better, and just how I choose to do things, so stick with it. Things are still early on. I'm refining the process, but I hope you find some cool stuff in the vlog this week. And I highly encourage you to leave comments, leave questions, anything there in the comment section that we can interact a bit. On certain surfaces it doesn't work very well because it's crappy adhesive, or if, oh snap, my windshield just cracked. This is no good. I'm gonna pull over. Oh, this is where buses go. Cool. Cool. Oh, frick, that sucks. Well then. So, shenanigans. Yeah, see, that's no good. That did not work at all. So that crack just happened. I've never, before this vehicle, with every vehicle I've owned and just been driving for like, I don't know how long, what year is it? Oh, it's almost 2019. So, whatever, for like, let's say 13 years, I've never even had a chip in a windshield before, done plenty of highway driving, it just wasn't a thing. I got this one in the summer, so I've had this vehicle for 2 years now, and I got that one in the summer, and that was the first one I got. I'm like, okay, that sucks, not a big deal. And then this bigger one down here, I just got like 3 days ago on the way back from Saskatoon. So that just cracked right now. Like, I don't have experience with stuff of this nature. I don't know what that means. I don't know how urgent it is to get fixed. I see people with like crazy cracks in their windshield and stuff all the time. Man, that sucks. I don't really have the fungibles to go around and fix. Okay, well, cool.
You've always had an idea of legacy then, even before you were thinking kids, because you always had this idea that I need to share my writing because it's important.
I don't know if it was because it was important. I think at first, just through the poetry forum, it was, I think that's where it goes into that connection piece and wanting, for sure it does. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because it was important, or it wasn't because it was like good, and it wasn't for praise, and it wasn't because I was trying to sell it, or anything like that. It was, so in that, there's a big separation because of the visual art, also because I wasn't doing visual art until like 10 years later or something like that. If I started writing when I was 14, yeah, I probably didn't start selling any work or doing work for that purpose until maybe like 21-ish, I think, like 2006-ish. So I think it was that need for connection.
But it's still someone interacting with your
Yeah.
art. So to me, then that's different than the need to connect. I guess you're connecting, but you're not necessarily, I don't know, like
If we talk about it like visual art though, there's this thing that I hate, that I'm very aware, like, well, I hate part of it, and that's that, okay, we have an exhibition, we put it up, and then we walk away, and now it's the audience's. Part of me hates that, because sometimes, and maybe it's just because I have this horrible association from the university where there were times where people interpreted what I was doing so wrong, and they made me aware of it because they would left a note. And I was like, why don't you just read the artist statement? Like, I would rather have a conversation because I can correct you, I can tell you what I meant, and you can tell me what you meant, and I might find that really cool. Or, I mean, obviously there's times where I want people to connect with the art, and it has nothing to do with, like, I don't have a statement beside every art piece. Like, there's a title that can guide a viewer, and sometimes, whatever, they reach their own interpretation no matter what, because they bring a personal history to it. And that's what I love about it, but at the same time, I don't, like, I guess a lot of it is just the words we use too, but like, there's a conversation happening with the audience, even though there's no give and take back. I give it, they take it, and maybe that's always where it stops, unless someone comments on social media, or if it's at an opening and they see me in person and then we can talk about it a bit, or something like that. It still is a conversation. I don't necessarily find it a one-way conversation either, because they're not giving something back to me, but they're giving something back to the piece internally because they're responding to it and they're thinking about it and it makes them feel a certain way.
I get that, but I'm saying it's maybe not as much of a connection at that point with the piece you're talking about, is not necessarily connection in the traditional sense, because connection in a traditional sense means going back and forth. And in a way, you're not really talking about that.
I completely, yeah, and I guess this is helping me understand that too. So like, connection for me is really important in all of these different ways. It's, I have control over this, okay, so I guess I'll address the traditional connection part. Like, yeah, no, traditionally, like, this is connecting, we're exchanging.
Right.
And that's really important to me too, because, well, there could be a million reasons why, but being an only child for like forever, for a long time, like my half-sister wasn't born until I was about 13, so, and my mom was a single mother for the majority of those years, from when I was like 4 until about 11, so she was working and stuff, so I don't know, I got really used to it. I was really independent really early, and looking back, I really liked that. When other people, and they talk about their siblings or their whatever, like, I'm curious as to what that would have been like. It's kind of like instant friends in a way, and so I miss that. I don't really feel like I have that, or have that relationship now with my sister or half-sister, half-sisters, I guess. Or just like the extended family, I don't have that stuff either. So like, I think connection for me has been something early on I've always wanted. I think I would choose the word connection rather than attention, because I don't think I really acted out to get attention ever. I'm sure that I did, but it wasn't like a conscious thing that I can look back on even now reflectively and say, oh yeah, that's totally what I was doing. I just don't think I was. But, so there's this connection where you would generally have with a person, but they need to be a part of it willingly. Like, to exchange back in a positive way, right?
Of course.
So that I like that, that's important to me. I strive for that all the time, and sometimes it's negative coping mechanisms when I get involved with somebody in a certain way, and I can exploit that connection because I'm getting what I want, and it's very selfish or whatever. There's that part, but then there's the part that I'm talking about with like putting work out there. I still feel as long as someone is reading it, I don't even have to know I want to know that they're reading it. I want to know that they're looking at it, that they're taking it in, yes. But that could be through, I mean, like right now, it could be things like analytics, how many people watch this for how long or whatever. I prefer to have people comment because I want to create a conversation if I can. Because I love to have conversation. Like, that's a meaningful conversation, not just like a stupid, ignorant argument or something like that where you can't get through. It's an open thing. But to me, that's connection too. It's like, I reached somebody. I connected. And I know you're saying, like, I didn't connect with them. I still feel that way. And I guess that it is way more one-sided. I've always been open to the person responding back and having a conversation if I felt it worthwhile. But from those days of writing early on, I still felt like someone else read it, and that was enough. Is that they got that piece of me, and that I connected with them for those few seconds or minutes or what have you. You want to keep the same musics?
Could pick it up a little bit, I guess, when I wouldn't mind.
Well, now that you're painting, yeah. Pick it up a bit.
Yeah. I'm glad you, like, not talked me into, but, like, recommended that I put my stuff out there and start doing that. It was a good move.
Well, I just think it's, well, I mean, that...
It's still really hard, but...
Yeah. That goes to the conversation we had the other day, though, right?
I know.
Of just, like, why... Like, I mean, for me, it's hard to just, like, have something and keep it just for me. Because then I'm just like, why am I doing this?
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Well, it's up there.
I know.
This is so, like, familiar to me, this color palette that you've been working on today, in a good way, like that one down there too. I think it's Soy Milk, that's who it is. Do you know her work? And it's also very, there's a lot of, the figures are always female. There's actually a student, Wade, who introduced me to her through an assignment he did. But that's what it reminds me of, and I love it. I really do.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Soy Milk. Man, and it's only the older pieces that I really know, because none of these are like what I'm thinking of at all. Like some of that, I guess, but there's like a lot of loose like patches in some of it.
Oh yeah, like that.
Kind of.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Now, is that a collage or is that her painting? Like, it looks collagey.
We are about to embark on Lost Souls Ultra Trail. Smokes. Brick. Whew. That was rough. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Am I about to die? Do people die here? It's
been a while since I've been here. We'll see what happens. I doubt I'll clean the whole section, but yeah. Whew. This is where I get into trouble. You know what? Because it's winter, it's actually a little easier. The sand isn't really that sandy. Oh, snap. Snap. Checkers or wreckers. Woo! That's the first time I've done that. Hell yeah. Wow. I'm digging it. Usually that's just like super sandy. I've never been able to clear that before. Oh, I wasn't even going into this ride thinking that would happen. That's sick.